The bison, that refused to disappear. They once called it extinct while it was still breathing. The American bison was declared functionally dead long before the last herds vanished. In the late 1800s, fewer than 1,000 individuals remained alive on Earth. That number was not an accident. It was not natural collapse. It was something closer to erasure. Yet today, over 500,000 bison walk the continent again. Which raises a question that refuses to stay quiet. How does a species return from the edge of non-existence without becoming something else entirely? This is not a comeback story. It is a mystery of biological memory. The bison that roam today are not identical to the giants that once thundered across North America in herds so vast they altered weather patterns. Early explorers described the sound of their hooves as continuous thunder that lasted for hours. Satellite imaging now confirms something even stranger. Ancient bison migration routes still shape plant diversity across the Great Plains, centuries after the herds disappeared. The land remembers them, but do the bison remember themselves? Every animal carries history in its DNA. But bison carry something more unsettling. Genetic bottlenecks that severe should leave scars so deep that recovery becomes mathematically impossible. Yet bison rebounded, not cleanly, not purely, but effectively, which means what we see today may not be a restoration. It may be a reconstruction. A species rebuilt from fragments, carrying hidden distortions beneath its massive frame. Look into a bison's eyes and you are not seeing an ancient beast. You are seeing a survivor of a mass biological collapse that should have erased it completely. And what survives extinction does not come back unchanged. In 2015, full genome sequencing of American bison revealed something unsettling. Nearly every modern bison carries traces of domestic cattle DNA. Not from natural interbreeding, but from desperate experiments in the early 1900s. When conservationists tried to save the species by crossing the last survivors with cows. The goal was restoration. The result was something else. A hybrid species masquerading as ancient wildness. Yet here is where the mystery deepens. Despite cattle genes infiltrating their genome, bison retained almost all of their behavioral traits. They migrate differently from cattle. They resist disease differently. Their muscle fiber composition remains closer to prehistoric bovines than any modern livestock species. Somehow, their identity persisted even when their DNA did not remain pure. This defies evolutionary expectations. Normally, when a population shrinks this severely, genetic drift overwhelms natural selection. Traits vanish randomly, entire adaptations collapse, but bison retain complex social behaviors, predator awareness patterns, and migratory instincts that should have been statistically erased. This suggests that something besides genetics is at work. Epigenetics, the chemical memory of trauma written not in genes but on genes. Studies show that mammals exposed to extreme population stress exhibit multi-generational behavioral imprinting. Stress hormones can modify gene expression patterns that persist for decades. In humans, famine trauma alters descendants' metabolism. In mice, fear memories imprint across generations. What if bison carry extinction memory in their cells? When modern bison hesitate before entering open fields, when they form tighter defensive circles than historical accounts describe, when they react to distant threats earlier than predators are visible, this may not be instinct. It may be inherited trauma. They do not remember extinction, but their bodies might. At their peak, an estimated 30 to 60 million bison roamed North America. That is not metaphorical abundance. That is biological dominance. They were the largest terrestrial mammal population on the planet. Then, in less than 50 years, they nearly vanished. But the mystery is not that they were hunted. The mystery is how fast it happened. Ecologists studying population collapse models estimate that even industrial-scale hunting should not have eliminated bison this quickly. The math does not work. Historical ammunition production, transportation speed, and known kill records fall short of explaining the scale of disappearance. Something accelerated the collapse beyond what guns alone could achieve. One overlooked factor was disease spillover from cattle. As railroads pushed west, livestock brought bovine tuberculosis, brucellosis, and rinderpest-like pathogens into ecosystems bison had never encountered. Herds weakened silently. Calves failed to thrive. Migration routes broke down. Hunters then encountered populations already destabilized. But there is another layer. Bison were not just hunted. They were selectively erased. Hunters targeted breeding females. Calves were abandoned. Carcasses were often left to rot, their hides taken but their bodies wasted. This disrupted nutrient cycles across the plains. Grasslands collapsed into invasive plant systems. Wolves and scavengers lost keystone prey. Entire ecosystems entered metabolic shock. What disappeared was not an animal. It was a biological infrastructure. The bison extinction event ranks among the most rapid megafaunal collapses in recorded history. Yet it remains understudied, largely because the species survived. But survival does not erase catastrophe. It conceals it. Modern bison are bigger than their ancestors. Heavier, more muscular. Some bulls exceed 1,000 kilograms, rivaling prehistoric bovines in mass. This defies ecological expectations. Bottlenecked species usually shrink. Reduced genetic diversity typically results in smaller, weaker bodies. But bison grew. One theory suggests selective survival. Only the largest, most resilient individuals survived the collapse. Their offspring inherited extreme robustness. But fossil comparisons complicate this. Ancient bison species such as Bison antiquus were larger than modern bison, yet today's animals are approaching those sizes without corresponding genetic diversity. This suggests compensatory hypertrophy. When genetic variation shrinks, some species respond by amplifying muscle growth pathways to offset vulnerability. This phenomenon has been documented in bottlenecked fish populations and island mammals. The result is animals that appear stronger but possess fragile internal resilience. In bison, this manifests as paradoxical physiology. They can endure extreme cold, famine, and predator pressure. Yet they are unusually susceptible to certain diseases and reproductive abnormalities. Their bodies look invincible. Their cellular stability is not. In evolutionary terms, bison may be running on biological overdrive. Their systems compensate constantly, masking fragility with mass, which raises an unsettling idea. Modern bison may not be stable organisms. They may be transitional forms, survivors of extinction still adapting to existence. The animal you see is not ancient wilderness. It is a living experiment in recovery biology. Bison mortality patterns differ from most large herbivores. In wild herds, adult bison often die suddenly, without prolonged illness. Necropsies reveal cardiac fibrosis, immune system collapse, and unexplained organ failure in otherwise healthy individuals. This phenomenon has puzzled wildlife biologists for decades. In many cases, the animals show no external injuries, no infection markers, no visible trauma. Yet their bodies simply shut down. This resembles stress-induced systemic failure, a condition seen in laboratory animals exposed to prolonged environmental instability. It is also observed in humans with extreme trauma histories. Bison also exhibit unusual herd behavior surrounding death. Unlike cattle or deer, they form silent circles around dying members, standing motionless for hours. No vocalizations, no nudging, no movement, just stillness. Observers report that other animals avoid these sites long after the body is gone, as if sensing something abnormal in the space itself. This behavior does not increase survival. It does not ward off predators. It does not improve reproduction. It serves no obvious evolutionary function, which makes it deeply unsettling. Some researchers suggest this is residual social programming from ancient herd structures that required synchronized migration and cohesion under extreme predation pressure. Others propose something darker, that bison recognize death not as anomaly, but as expected interruption. A species shaped by mass extinction may not treat death as deviation. It may treat it as pattern. If you enjoyed uncovering these amazing animal secrets, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to stay updated on all our future videos. Don't forget to click the bell icon, so you'll never miss out on more fascinating stories from the animal kingdom. Thank you for watching, and we can't wait to explore more hidden secrets with you in the next video.